Hello, I am Nimzin. In this very straightforward tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to enable events in Python using pysimplegui. Here you can see a demo of what you're going to be able to build at the end of the tutorial if you follow carefully. You can see putting stomach that tells you it gives you room to fill for stomach. If it fails, then it doesn't show any other side. If you go to stomach again, it reveals for you to write something in the stomach. This is a prototype kind of system that is intended to be used for writing reports. And if, for example, you write a report like that, and you can actually show how it gets saved somewhere. And there it is, you see there. So quite straightforward. Follow on. We would also see how you can enable events, hide some of the elements, and so on. I guess you would enjoy this. Please do not skip any spot because there will be deliberate errors in some parts so that you will correct them, and I will correct them for you so you can see how it's done. First, create a Python file, enable events.py, and then within the Visual Studio Code, you import pysimplegui as SG. To make it easy for us, we'll create a theme which is sg.theme as written, and then we set the options. This is essentially, it's not important, but it's just a system that would help create a font that will be visualized easily. Sorry, there was an error there. I'm correcting it so you can see. So you actually say sg.set options, and then in bracket put the font. We're going to use the Arial font character, and putting a size of 24 with the normal appearing elements or alphabets. And then we set up the layout. If you are struggling to know how to make a layout, there are tutorials out there, and some of which I have made, and which you can use in creating a layout. So we'll put a title here, just for the sake of creating something to show what we are demonstrating. And then we want to display the window, and here we call the window enable events for simplicity, and then you put the layout within the window. And then while loop, saying while the loop is true, the window should be able to read the contents of the values. And then you go on to saying if you close the window, then there should be a break. Sorry, there's an error again there. So you can notice that if you put in the right things, the system will go well. So, and then you break, and then you don't forget to close the window. And here we'll show what we've done so far, and you can see that we're displaying the content of what is written in the text already. And we will then proceed with this app to show some additional elements. First of all, we would want to actually write the different text, and perhaps, yeah, I think, yeah, so perhaps starting with radio. Oh no, I think a text would be better first. So we will put in that text the extent of procedure. We're assuming we're doing a procedure, and the extent to which the procedure went, and we'll create that information to be displayed on a window. And then we're going to create radio buttons, and this is important because you want to click different sites. So a procedure could have failed, or you would have been able to complete it, and or you may be able to get to a specific spot. And remember, when you're putting the radio buttons, the radio group is represented by group ID. And so for a particular group, you will put an ID for the same ID for all of that group. And that represents the radio group. And so for this one, the first one, I said fail, so that is the radio group. You can see the demo of it. And then for ease, we would like to actually put it on a different line so that it's cleaner. And let's see how it looks. Very good. So you can see it's looking down there. And then we'll try and arrange these by copying and pasting so that we can then make it easier. The configuration is quite straightforward, making sure that you put the brackets, square brackets, and commas in the right place. Otherwise, the app will crash. There, we'll repeat that. So we've done completed. We're going on to if the examiner reached the stomach, and then we will create the key. Now it's important to notice that the key is what is used in interacting with this app. If you don't put the key, everything is going to be done through the key. And so key is quite important, and it makes quite easy. So let's see what we've done so far. Very good. So you can see we've got already buttons demonstrating the different parts of what we would anticipate. Now that we've cleared that part, we will then want to do something more, namely to create a title for the next part. In other words, the findings. For example, you want to say the person has done the procedure and they reached a particular point, so it's important to write the findings in a particular spot. And so here we're going to create some 2 lines for stomach, and then the second one would be for the duodenum. And we will then create an input area, that is where whatever information that the user will put in will be held. And that is important because it will provide us with direction, and we'll call the key here stomach underscore findings. Let's see how it looks at this point. Oh, that's quite big, but it's quite a long area, which you can see demonstrating writing in it. Right. Then we can do a bit more things here to make it easier. But let's see what we can do. Pass, yes, I think resizing would make sense to 20 so that we can decrease the length, and then change that background to white. So the background color, that's the syntax, and you see that it looks, yeah, better now. And so brilliant. So we could actually copy that and create an edit for duodenum. For simplicity, I'm using medical terminologies, as you would know that that's my background, and there it is. I've changed there it is. So you can see they're not well aligned, but we can make them a bit better aligned, or not bother, but if we give it the same size for the text, you can see size 15, and they're all aligned uniformly now. So that makes it very brilliant again. Again, a lot of these are available, and you can actually learn how to do a lot of these by accessing tutorials online, and know how to align these things. And there's one on my channel as well, which you can find. Then let's go on to the events now. So we're saying that if the values, we pick one of the values is failed, and you can say that if values is true, it's either the values could either be true or false, then something should happen. What do we want to happen? We will remember that you have to put double equal signs there. We're trying to say if the value failed is chosen, then the content of the window of the stomach should also be updated with some information. In other words, if the procedure did not get to the stomach, then that space spot should write automatically that stomach was not examined. Well, let's see, does this work? Well, it's not working. So why? Well, I'll show you why at this point. So there is an important information called enable events. It's actually automatic, and while you start typing it would show you. So it's enable events equals true, and then that will permit what you're going to do to show. So remember to put them in all the radio buttons, and there it is. Let's see, does this work still? Well, okay, it crashes. Why? Because look at the failed. The failed there, although it's in the system, is not the correct failed using uppercase. So you have to copy the failed in that place and replace it. Again, at this point, you do that and see what's going to show like. Wonderful. It's still not telling me anything. So there was an error again. What is that error? We'll go back and we can look. Why is it not accepting our information? Well, look at the stomach findings. So the stomach within the window is not the right one. So the key is the major issue. Replace that and see what happens now. Well, very good. So you see, it has imported the information not examined and brought it right into the spot, which is great. Well, now that we've seen that, we know it's not going to work for every part. So you want to see how if you completed the procedure, the stomach should then actually clear the not examined, or it should be empty so that you can permit a chance for new entry to be imputed. So there it is. Let's see. Very good. So very good. So you see that it's working now. When you say fail, it would clear. So it would put in something, and then if you say completed, it should clear. But going on to other things wouldn't work because you've not implemented them as well. So we're going to implement them next. Just follow and see how it's going to work for the different parts. Remember, do not jump any stage. If you follow step by step, you will see how all of that information will be corrected. So we're creating completed, then the document should also be clear so that you can enter information there. And if we we'll go on to the next part and say if the procedure reached the stomach, then it should allow you to write something in the stomach, but then it duodenum should show not examined. If it actually got to the duodenum, it's almost like completed as well. So it's just the same. The windows should be open, so update them with nothing within the windows. Important to put elif. It stands for else if, and which is very important because it then gives you good information. You can see how his demo is showing. Yes, so you see it's working properly now, and it's brilliant, isn't it? I think that's wonderful. So it's really a good system that can actually be utilized properly for ensuring that the right information is entered after each procedure. And we can then think of doing something new here. For example, you just want to remove the entire window or element so that it wouldn't be available for writing anything anyway. And the person will then not write anything within it and cannot find anything there if the procedure failed. And so we will copy and paste to make it easier. And there is a special update function that you can put visible. You can then say false. That means you're saying that that element should disappear. In other words, if the procedure failed, then the stomach and duodenum should not be visible. That is those key areas. Click. Very good. See, disappeared. But you see, if you keep it like that without changing it in the other sections, it will not come back, and that's not what you want. So you have to make sure you change them as well to true. So you're saying that if the procedure is completed, then those elements should appear. So see that now, failed, disappeared, completed, appeared, Well, very good. So, well, that is the beauty of coding using pysimplegui. Is quite simple, straightforward, and you will be able to see that. So we'll do that. For stomach, yes, visible true, but it should not. It should be false for duodenum. Students of anatomy know that the stomach comes before the duodenum, so that is how it works. Good. So you see that now. Well, stomach showing the stomach, and okay, duodenum showing everything. Stomach, good, fail, perfect. Uh, I think this is quite straightforward and can be modified to doing many things. It's not only in medicine, but for many other interactions that you may want to build an app for. Well, let's uh, try something funny by doing a button, which I call SG button, and put save. Let's click save and see what happens. So we're saying if the event equals save, then a pop-up window should appear. And what do we want to show on a pop-up? Yeah, just let's demonstrate that the pop-up will actually work. So that syntax is as written, and then we'll demonstrate now. Click. We're going to show the pop-up window now, and it seems there's something wrong somewhere. I think we're running something that's okay. Very good. It's working properly now. Well, there it is. So it's actually showing. So it means we can actually put something within that pop-up. And what do we want to put in there? We just want to be able to put some information within one of the windows uh, and get that information displayed in a pop-up. So let's try the stomach. So if the user puts some information in the stomach, how can we capture that and show in a pop-up? So we first convert it into a string, which is, I call it st, and then we'll delete whatever information there is within that pop-up, and then put the st, which is the string information, and let's see how it plays now. It's quite straightforward. Click run, and then let's try that now and see. Okay, you see everything is working properly, but let's put some information in that stomach and see. And then we'll go to save, and let's see whether it brings up the information. There was found some food in the stomach. Wonderful. So you see that it actually is working. And that is the point. It's really supposed to work, and that's the idea behind it. And I